Welcome back. In this new video, I'm going to be sharing an extraordinary story. And this is the story of a great woman, Madeleine Albright. In 1948, a young girl named Marie Jana Korbelová arrived in the United States with her family, having fled the homeland of Czechoslovakia twice, first from the Nazis, then from the communists. She had almost nothing. She had survived things that should not have to be survived. She had, it would turn out, an extraordinary future ahead of her. The girl who arrived as a refugee became Madeleine Albright, American citizen, scholar, professor, and diplomat. She earned a Ph.D. from Columbia University, taught international affairs at Georgetown for years, served on the National Security Council under President Jimmy Carter, and spent 6 years as United States ambassador to the United Nations, building a reputation as one of the most formidable, clear-eyed, and strategically brilliant diplomatic minds in American foreign policy. When President Bill Clinton nominated her to be Secretary of State in late 1996, the Senate confirmed her by a vote of 19-0, not 99-1, not 99 to a handful of dissenting voices, 99-0. On January 23, 1997, Madeleine Albright was sworn in as the 64th Secretary of State of the United States and the first woman in American history to hold the office, and that moment the highest ranking woman in the history of the United States government. As a Secretary of State, she stood forth in the presidential line of succession, a position of power and responsibility that no woman had ever occupied before. The significance of the moment was enormous, but it was deepened further by something that emerged around the time of her appointment, something Albright herself described as one of the most shattering discoveries of her life. While journalists began investigating her background during the confirmation process, a stunning truth surfaced. Albright had been born Jewish, and three of her four grandparents had died in the Holocaust. Her family had converted to Catholicism before she was born, and she had grown up without knowledge of this history, learning it as the world's camera were training on her. At the precise moment of her greatest public triumph was, by her own account, a profound and deeply personal reckoning. The refugee girl whose grandparents had been murdered by a regime that believed certain people did not deserve to exist had just become the most powerful diplomat in the most powerful nation on earth. As Secretary of State, Albright navigated some of the most consequential foreign policy crises at the late 1990s, from NATO expansion to the conflicts in the Balkans, where she was a fierce advocate for intervention to stop ethnic cleansing in Kosovo. She was known for a directness, a moral clarity, and a refusal to treat diplomacy as a performance disconnected from human consequences. She was also known for her brooches, carefully chosen pins that she wore as a kind of a diplomatic language, selecting each one to send a deliberate message to whoever she was meeting that day. When the Russian ambassador complained that American intelligence was backing the Russian embassy, she wore a pin shaped like a bag to their next meeting. Madeleine Albright died on March 23, 2022, at the age of 84. She had lived a life that began in flight and ended at the absolute summit of American public service, and she had done it by being in every room she ever entered exactly and completely herself. It took me quite a long time to develop a voice, she once said, and now that I have it, I'm not going to be silent. She never was. I still remember Madeleine Albright while, in some occasion she was talking with, in some press conference with a journalist, and I deeply appreciate a clarity, a leadership, and, she was an extraordinary woman. And I want to share this story with you today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.